excited. Louise is laughing. We've been chatting before we came on, and I messaged her at 12 o'clock to say I am so excited to do this because this is my first career clinic live. I will get about a logo. You can't see it at the minute, but the career clinic live is me bringing onto all the different platforms. So we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. Something that I do, a version of something I do with my clients, which is answer their real questions about their career so that they can make massive progress. And it's actually my favorite bit of my career elevator program because you're getting into the nitty gritty, you're dealing with the issues and the challenges, they're getting answers and support, and it's all a big love fest. But the difference is bringing it online and live to the masses, which is one person at this moment. Hi, thanks for joining. But will be more, I know. Is I'm bringing in guest experts, and the first person I thought of to bring on for this is the wonderful Louise Brogan, and I'm so glad to have you here today, Louise.
Well, I'm just really very honoured to be your first guest and very excited and can't wait to hear what questions people have. It's just, everything's just wonderful. What a way to kick off your weekend.
I know, exactly. So I'll tell you a bit about Louise for anyone that doesn't know. So I'm really passionate about using LinkedIn as a platform to increase your visibility. And obviously, you know, if you're looking for a new job, I think that's when a lot of people decide to use it. But it's brilliant for increasing your visibility in lots of other scenarios too. And if you're online using LinkedIn, you can really help people in your current business see your power and your impact too. And so, Louise, I'll read your headline from LinkedIn, is an award-winning LinkedIn trainer, social media consultant, podcaster, and international speaker. And something that isn't on her headline and should be, and I'm surprised it isn't, is she's a Bruce Springsteen fan and she's also my friend. So I expect to see on your LinkedIn headline, friend of Sinead. But no, we have known each other for quite a long time now.
Yeah. We have. Leona's asking, can you share the link for this, or do people need to be your connections to watch? No, you can share it, Leona. Share it out and invite people to watch us. That'd be fabulous.
Brilliant.
Yes, but I do actually. So I have all my Bruce Springsteen tickets, and one day I'm going to. I'm not very creative, even though my first business was a craft shop. Hilariously, I would like to do something like really artistic with my Springsteen tickets, but I don't really know what. And then they'll sit here behind me on my live shows.
Well, I'm on an email thing called Pop Bitch, which I really love. And they have a thing about talking about what's in celebrities' downstairs loos. And quite often they wallpaper their downstairs loo with such things. So there you go. You could have an homage to Bruce Springsteen in your loo.
Well, do you know what you've just reminded me of? The most interesting thing I ever found in someone's downstairs loo. You will never guess what it was.
I'm a bit scared.
It was an Oscar.
A what?
An Oscar.
An Oscar?
Yeah.
I thought you said an otter at first. And it was
it was Neil Jordan's house. I was friends with his daughter whenever we worked in our backpacking days. And we went to, we were in Dublin and we went to their house and went to the loo, and the Oscar for the movie The Crying Game was in the downstairs loo.
Whoa, that is very cool. And that is cool having it in your loo, because most people are likely to see it, but you're not being too flash about it.
Yes.
Love it. So Louise and I met probably not long after I started the business. We used to work in the same co-working space.
Yes.
But did we meet through Lean In even before that? Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yes, I think we did. Yeah. I mean, Sinead, that was quite a long time ago. I don't know when that was. When did you start your business? How long did
Yes,
you start your
so
business?
I started it'll be coming up 6 years ago. It's a little bit more. I was dabbling, but I
Right.
officially started about 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it was through Lean In that I got the courage to go and do it. So my first Lean In event, I was speaking at about confidence
Oh,
and
wow.
speaking to women there about that, and it made me see, yes, there is a need for what I can do. Yeah.
Excellent.
So we've got Louise here talking about LinkedIn. She is an absolute expert on, Carol's in Kansas. That's brilliant.
Carol is the most amazing champion of nurses. She's a nurse and she is like a champion of nurses. She's amazing. You need to connect with her. Hi,
Well,
Carol.
Carol, my mum was a nurse and my brother is a nurse. So nursing is very big in our family and
My
we
brother's a
do
nurse
care.
too.
And Leona, thank you for sending the link to a few people. That's brilliant. Well, Louise is here to chat to us about how you can use LinkedIn to increase your visibility for your career, essentially.
Yes.
And I know working with women that quite often they're a bit nervous, a bit cagey about going on LinkedIn. So they maybe don't have a profile, they may be lurkers,
Yeah.
but they're not out there and proud there. So what would you say to encourage them to get their butts on there?
Okay. So one of the key things I think which would help people be more active or visible on LinkedIn is being a bit more strategic about who you have in your network. So if you only connect with people that you actually want to be connected with, who you're interested in what they're talking about, and they're going to be interested in the conversations that you want to start, you build a really nice network around you. So whereas a lot of people will accept connection requests from anybody, or they might have had a LinkedIn account since like 2004 or something. Maybe it's not as old as that. But say 2000 and like 2007, 2008, you created your LinkedIn account and you just accepted connection requests from anybody and everybody, and you go to LinkedIn and you're like, oh, I don't want to post on there because that guy that I worked with 5 years ago who I had a fallout with, he's going to see my post and he's going to say something or whatever. That doesn't happen. LinkedIn is a really great network. It doesn't happen about 99% of the time. Because it's a professional network, people tend to behave themselves because their peers can see what they're doing on this platform. So it makes it almost a safer environment to go out and talk about things that you want to talk about. But B, you can remove those people from your network and just have a network full of people that you actually want, that you'd be very comfortable having conversations with if you met them at the next networking event that you attended. But also, if you are like Carol Bush is here. She is an amazing thought leader in nursing. Other people who work in nursing want to hear from Carol. So, you need to get out there and be heard, because there are people who want to hear what it is that you have to say. And if you do get people reacting in a negative way, or you feel like, well, first of all, a lot of us think that everyone's watching us, and they're not.
Yeah, I know. I think there's this fear that you're going to post something and the world is going to jump on it and you get
on you.
loads of criticism or whatever. And it's not like that. And it's really unusual unless you post something provocative or controversial
or offensive,
or offensive. You're not going to get that kind of response. No. It's not Twitter. People, it's not Twitter. No. You're not going to get that. Although we are on Twitter right now. So sorry, the people of Twitter.
Well, actually, there's a really interesting article in The Guardian by, I think it's an Australian journalist. And so journalists love Twitter. I love Twitter as well.
Yeah,
I treat it very differently to LinkedIn. But this journalist for The Guardian went on LinkedIn for a week, can't build relationships on a network in a week. And basically ended up saying, well, I posted and nobody responded to me. Well, that's because you didn't build any relationships or build your network. And has gone back to Twitter because she feels like it's more fast-paced and more, edgy and more suited to her. We must actually get the link to that article and share it in the comments for everyone to check out. And I thought, well, that is exactly why I love LinkedIn, because you get on here, you build up your network of people you're interested in, they're interested in you, and you start building relationships with those people, and it becomes somewhere that you want to go because you want to hear what Carol Bush is talking about, people in nursing, or you want to hear what Leon is talking about in her industry, or what Sinead's talking about.
Yeah, and there's two things I want to say to that. One is, when I joined Twitter, I felt like Twitter was like going out into the street and shouting, and nobody was paying attention. So all platforms are like that until you've made connections and you start doing things. And the other thing is, I think we can be aspirational about who we connect to on LinkedIn. So you can really use it to connect with organizations you're interested in, or people in roles that you're interested in. So maybe you want to be a CFO. Why not start connecting with CFOs and seeing what they do and what they talk about?
Yes.
And
this is
those conversations.
Here's a tip for people who are, this is actually a very good tip for people who are, there's a particular company that you might want to go and work with. Well, go to their LinkedIn company page and follow it. You will see the key people who work there. If you, if say you're in Belfast and you went to Queen's University and the company is in Belfast in Northern Ireland, you can see who else went to your university who also works there. And that is a really nice, warm introduction. You can connect with that person and say, hi Sinead, I see that you also studied geography at Queen's University, or Dundee if you're like me. And I'd love to add you to my network, and maybe we could have a chat about what it's like to actually work at company XYZ. So it's a nice, easy way to get in there. Brilliant. Also, you can see what it's like to work at that company, because based on what content they're sharing on their company page. And you can also get yourself visible in front of that company by commenting on some of their content. Because if you go to your favorite company, if there's a company that you are going to apply to, if you go to their LinkedIn company page today, you can bet that whatever their last post was on their company page, they probably didn't get very many comments on it. So it's a really easy way to get a little bit of visibility with that company.
I love that.
Ahead of your interview.
Is that? And so when you start commenting on things, it really raises your visibility, because everybody in your network can potentially see that comment, as well as other people. I just got a compliment there. Thank you.
Hi, Eileen.
Thank you, Eileen. I love you. You can stay. But yeah, it does increase your visibility. And the one thing that they see is your headline.
Yes.
They see your photo. So you really do need a photo, and they see your headline. So what tips have you got for like your headline, and maybe the key things you need to think about for your profile?
Absolutely. So number one, with your photograph, ideally, it will be your head and shoulders, and then all the stuff behind you, use something called background remover tool on a website called Canva, and just make that plain white. So it's just your face, and it really sticks out then, because when you comment on people's posts, you want to like kind of jump off the page at somebody. So you say your name and then your headline. So a lot of people in careers will have literally just whatever their most recent experience is. So for example, I was an IT project manager in the health service. So mine might just say project manager. But that doesn't teach anybody or tell anybody anything about what industry I'm in, what level am I. So it could be that I was a senior project manager specializing in nursing software or something. That tells you so much more than just simple project manager. So you want to have a headline that attracts people to click on your profile, so that they then go and read your profile. Now, I do mainly work with people who are small business owners and entrepreneurs, and the advice that I give these two different groups is completely different. So for your profile, if you are, and we are in a career clinic, so we're talking to people who are ambitious in their careers. So, well, if you're not ambitious, come on, speak to Sinead. So in your profile, you've got your name and your headline at the top. Then you're going to have there's a little clickable link that says contact info. When you click on that, that should have a link to maybe your current company that you're working at, and it should have your email address. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they can. Then your about section. So this is where this is a big difference for business owners and for people in who are in corporate careers. You want to really highlight your skills and what you're really good at and what you're passionate about in your about section in your career. For people who are business owners, totally different advice. Go and check out my YouTube channel and I'll teach you all about that there, or speak to me afterwards. But for your career, let's think about a project that you were in. What were you responsible for? What did you achieve? And really highlight the key areas that you want to work in as well. So particularly, when I was a software engineer, I might have worked in across 3 or 4 different fields in my 2 years that I was a software engineer many moons ago. But if there's one of those areas that I really wanted to continue working in, that's what I would focus on in my about section, the projects I did within that particular area, because that's what I want people to go, oh, she has experience in managing this particular product or whatever.
That's it. It's about your personal brand. You're projecting what you want people to know.
Yes.
And a bit like in your headline, if you want to be a speaker, put that you are a speaker in that. I find the women that I work with want to be honest to a fault, and and so they don't include things, but it's about what am I projecting here, what do I want people to know and understand about me, so that they go, she's the right person for maybe I have a chat with her about such and such.
I have a tip for somebody who wants to be a speaker, and I was given this tip about 5-6 years ago by somebody one of the top podcasters in the world, and I never forgot it. If you want to be a speaker, put on an event, like a small event, doesn't have to be big at all, but something that you are at the front of the room and you are speaking to a room. It can be of 5 people. So I've been hosting LinkedIn Business Breakfast. They've just kicked off again with 10 people at the last one. It was brilliant. Took pictures. There's me at the front of the room, in front of a podium with the screen, photograph. There I am. I'm a speaker. So, and I am a speaker. But when you're just starting out, if you get invited to speak on a panel or something, but if you aren't getting invited to do these things yet, create your own. Host a lunchtime event at your workplace and say, I just wanted to get together with people who are interested in talking about XYZ that you're passionate about, and get your cousin or your sister along. Take a photograph of you at the front of the room, backs of some people's heads. Bingo, you're a speaker. Put it up on your background picture of your LinkedIn profile. Say on there, speaker, speaks about menopause in the workplace, or whatever it is you want to speak about. And now you are a speaker.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. I love that. That is such good advice. Carol's also said, personal brand in our careers. We are CEOs of our own lives. Absolutely. And nobody can do it for you. I just did a blog yesterday, a newsletter that went out, that nobody can do this stuff for you. You've got to take responsibility for it. And it's easier than you think. So
I just want to show Carol, I've got my CEO hat.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, actually, I've got a CEO mug up there that I got with my logo on it. But while we're thinking about that, then how do you get confident, interacting and posting on LinkedIn? What would your tips be for that?
Okay, well, the place to start, Sinead, is actually commenting on other people's posts. If you're watching us and you're thinking, well, I could never go live on LinkedIn. You will get there, and you're thinking, well, I can't even post anything. So if what I'm saying resonates with you, start by commenting on other people's posts, and you will get to see that actually people then engage with you, and actually it's a friendly, professional place. And then think, well, what would I like to talk about? So if you think, well, I don't have, because we can talk about thought leadership in a little minute, but if you think, well, I don't have enough to say about this, I've quite a lot of graduates in my network, because I've spoken at universities about how to use LinkedIn when you're graduating, and they're like, well, what would I talk about? So if you aren't confident enough to write your own post about the industry you work in, read papers and journals and magazines that do talk about this stuff and share those articles and say, I really enjoyed this article about personal branding. The thing that really stood out to me was points A or B. And then the important thing is say, what did you think? Have you read this? Ask people questions, because it's conversational. So if you think about going to a networking event, so I'm doing a networking event in Belfast in June. If you come along to that networking event, are you going to come? And a lot of people will go, well, I don't want to go on my own. So I might come with a friend. Are you going to go to that networking event and not speak to anybody? And if you're like, yeah, Louise, I don't want to speak to anybody. Well, you know what happens? I'm the host of the networking event. And when you come in, I will speak to you and you will respond. It's the same thing. So you can go to my LinkedIn posts and you can respond to me and I'll respond to you. And now you'll say, oh, actually quite enjoyed this interaction. Maybe I'll try posting my own thing next week and see what happens. And maybe I'll message Louise, say, Louise, I did it. Can you, no one's replied to it. And I'll go, right, okay, I'm emergency, SOS, I'm coming. And let's see what I'm going to say in response to your post. Now, I don't do that very often, but just in case.
Well, that's the thing, like, and to not panic if you don't get a response.
Yes.
It's just one conversation starter. We've all had that tumbleweed moment in a real conversation where we go, okay, so maybe I need to say something.
Well, that one didn't land.
And it's the same online, but it's actually the more you do, the more persistent you are, and the more you engage with others. Like the commenting on other people's posts is 100% the easiest thing to do, and you've no idea just how much more visible it makes you.
And actually, how much the original poster really appreciates you doing that. It puts you top of mind with that person, which is something I don't think most people don't really realize.
No, we do love, think about when somebody comments on something you do. You love that person for doing that, as long as they're not.
Well, like Leona and Carol here, or like the best, and Eileen, awesome.
Okay. So you mentioned thought leadership there. I can imagine that's, you did a survey on this recently on LinkedIn. It's something that people might go, oh, that sounds a bit. Tell us a bit more about thought leadership and LinkedIn.
Yes. So LinkedIn do surveys of what people are looking for on this platform. And they've said that this is probably the most trusted social media platform, and people want to hear from CEOs and senior people in companies, and they want to hear what their ideas are about things. And whenever you do that, the company and the brand is really elevated. Now, if you're like, well, I'm not a CEO of like a Fortune 500 company, Louise, who I'm not a thought leader. Well, you can be, because it's just, what do you actually think about a particular thing? So I mentioned menopause earlier, and in the UK, we've had a program with Davina McCall talking about perimenopause and menopause. And I can see women in my network who, it might not necessarily be their speciality and what they do in their career, but they're speaking up about their experiences of that, and they're sharing that. And to me, that puts them as thought leaders to me in that area. And that's not, maybe unless they're working in the menopause space, it's maybe not necessarily that's what their career is. But people who, when I did the poll, because my clients that I work with tend to be business owners who maybe have a team of like 10 to 15, and we manage their company pages, and we do the support and strategy and how to raise your business and your personal and your company profiles on LinkedIn. And so I did the poll to see who sees themselves as a thought leader, like how many of my network will see themselves as thought leaders. And it was really fascinating results. And some of my UK friends' responses were like, oh my, no, what? Cringy, I'm not a thought leader. And I thought that's really interesting, because culturally, we maybe aren't really encouraged to think of ourselves that way. And one lady, so because when you host a poll on LinkedIn, you can see who's clicked which result, but nobody else can. And one woman had clicked that she was not a thought leader. And I clicked on her profile because her headline really intrigued me. She literally is the definition of thought leader. Like, she's writing papers on this stuff and she's speaking on stages about the topic that she's passionate about. And I thought, how do you not? Did you click the wrong button? I'm really confused here.
Wow.
But you can see as well people who did say, yes, I am a thought leader, were probably people who are slightly further ahead in their careers, I would say, based on my knowledge of the people, because the people who interact with my content, I get to know them and I know who they are and what they do. So it was a lot of people fell into the places where I thought they would. So it was just really interesting, and I need to do. So I'm taking that data and I'm going to write an article about it. It's on my to-do list. So
brilliant.
Space.
Yes, showing great thought leadership there. And Carol shared that she's a colleague that has a brilliant strategy, does a great job of engaging and asking questions. And she's actually become the go-to person. So she has become the thought leader of that because she is willing to do that. And so it's not about making grand declarations.
No.
You know, hear ye, see me, I am a thought leader in this. Actually, everybody's going to shut down and go, yeah, bog off. It's about sharing interesting questions, having conversations, sharing your experiences. And we can all be thought leaders based on our own experiences, like you were saying with menopause. And that's what people engage with, and that's what people connect with. Like, people love people. They don't love, some people love all the academics and all the rest of it, but everybody loves to connect.
Yes. And one of the tips I would give is, if you can approach what you post about on LinkedIn as coming from a place of trying to help others, that is going to be the secret to your success. So it's not like going on. And I do see people on all social media platforms who come in and rant about something. And it's very, very rare that I do it. I had an issue with LinkedIn company pages yesterday, and I went into a private group and just went, this is happening. Could someone please sort this out? But I wouldn't do that publicly, because people follow me because I tell them how to use LinkedIn. If I started just, complaining about this and giving off about that, and this is not fair and da 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 da, you're going to attract a certain kind of person, and it's probably not going to be the person who's going to hire you. So think about, how can I share stuff that's going to help people? Maybe someone who's like coming along behind me in their career, or I have worked with a brilliant woman who's a PowerPoint specialist, Fiona Walsh, and all of her content is how to use PowerPoint better. And now she's she's been invited to speak at a conference about PowerPoint, because she's there helping people and delivering value on her specialist area.
And that's the key. And Ellie, hi Ellie, lovely to see you. She was saying she had a chat with a colleague yesterday and was really surprised in a positive way about how they perceive her compared to how you see yourself. And that's the thing. The great thing about LinkedIn is you get to create a perception and an image of you that you want people to see. So, like, quite often I work with women who want to make a change or step up. And if it's in the same organization, they struggle with, I'm laden with how people have seen me to date. But you can really transform your image and perception using LinkedIn by being smart about what you comment on, what you post, what you share. And it actually starts to create a really strong personal brand. Like, I bang the personal brand drum a lot with my clients. But it's the ultimate way to shape it for people. So you create this very strong image of who you are, what you want to be known for, what you want to be connected with. And then when the right work or opportunity comes up, who's front and center in their mind? You.
Absolutely.
So I'm conscious we're getting to 1:45, and I want
already?
I know. Let's see, you can imagine what we're like with a couple of glasses of wine. So I want to make sure you share with anyone that's watching, and I know loads of people have told me they've asked for the recording already. When is this going to be out? I can't watch it right now. But what are the top tips for somebody wanting to make the most use of LinkedIn, build a profile, build a visibility, especially for their career.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so number one, make sure you have filled out all of your profile. We didn't get really to do it's an hour and a half for me to go through a profile with somebody, so we couldn't really cover all that today. But fill in every bit of your profile with as much as you can about what it is that you do, highlighting the areas that you want to focus in your future career. Okay, start connecting with people who work in the field that you want to work in. Don't get hung up on people you worked with in the past, seeing what you've written. You can unfollow those people anyway, or you can disconnect from them. I always get asked, do people know if I disconnect from them? No, they don't. Just remove them from your network. Forget about them. Focus on yourself and what you want to be known for. Don't let these other people distract you or prevent you from getting your message out there. So build a really good, solid, supportive network around you. Think of the companies that you might want to go work for, or people in your own company. So if you are at the start of your career or your mid-career and you want to be the CFO of this company, then comment on the people's posts who are going to be involved in that decision in a year's time, in a couple of years' time. Be supportive of them and comment on their content. Be seen and be visible. And when I say comment, I don't mean saying, well done, great job, congrats.
Yawn.
Yeah. Say something like, and don't get too hung up on what you're going to say either. It does get easier with time. I promise it does. But just it's like practice, get training wheels on and start practicing, and you'll be amazed at the visibility that you get. And LinkedIn will tell you how many people are checking out your profile and how many people have seen your most recent post. And it'll give you a little bit of a boost. Just start conversations with people. The other thing I'll say, Sinead, is take it offline too. If there's someone you've connected with, go and meet them for coffee.
Send them a message, or even have a virtual coffee.
Yes. Do not ask them, can you pick their brain?
No. But like if you message somebody and say, I really loved your last post about X, I'm really interested in neurodiversity, and there was a woman whose post I commented on the other day, and then I connected with her.
Yes.
And I sent her a message to say, I absolutely loved that post, what you had to say, told her a bit about my journey with this. And she offered then, she said, would you like to have a chat about this? And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So we're going to have a call in a couple of weeks. She's in Australia. I'm hoping she's going to come on this. And, there's just so many opportunities. And it's about getting out of your own way. I think we get in our own heads about it. Like the world, there's no alarm bells going off across everybody's laptops in the world to go, Louise Brogan has just posted the most ridiculous thing, because you're not going to do that. So get off your butts and do it.
Yes.
So very quickly, Louise, what have you got coming up that people might be interested in joining or following?
Yeah, so there's actually two things. So starting on the 6th of June, I'm doing a 3-part online workshop called Power Up Your LinkedIn. It's 1 hour each week for 3 weeks. It's recorded. You can ask questions. I ran it once before and it got brilliant reviews. So I thought, you know what? It's about time I did that one again. So that's called Power Up Your LinkedIn. It's the new clickable link in my LinkedIn profile, which is on the introductory card at the top. So if you go to my profile, you'll see it there.
Good.
And for people, I was going to say local people, but actually my friend Lucy's going to fly over next time. I'm hosting my next women's networking group in Belfast on the 16th of June. And I will be talking about how to use LinkedIn to raise your visibility. And we'll be having wine and nibbles. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Hopefully, Sinead, you'll be there too.
Yes, I hope to be there. I went to the last one and it was brilliant. Yes. It's lovely because it's a nice number of people that you can chat with. You learn something and
very friendly.
Yeah. Yes. Oh no, Louise is awful. You wouldn't want to spend a couple of hours with her. Obviously, we can see how lovely you are. And I'm going to do a quick shameless plug for anybody that hasn't signed up for my challenge yet. And actually, Louise, we do a bit on LinkedIn in this. So I run a 5-day challenge, and I've realized this might be the last time I run it this year. I'm going to reduce how often I run it. So it may not be back until January. So if you think about it, sign up now. And it's all about how to build your motivation, confidence, and strategy to get noticed in your career. And so I do give them a LinkedIn challenge to do on the Friday to get themselves out there doing something. So
you have to include me in that. Like, say they have to do something that includes me, so I can meet them all.
Oh, brilliant. Right, we'll do that. I know a few of them will be like, oh my God, I'm not even on LinkedIn. So if they're not on LinkedIn, then that's their challenge. They have to go and get themselves on.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Louise. You made my first time very easy. Yay! So thank you. It's been an absolute joy to chat with you. Follow Louise. She definitely shares fantastic content. I love your newsletter, by the way.
Oh, I'm well overdue my May one.
Well, there's a little kick up the butt to get that done.
Yes.
And you'll get loads more tips when you follow Louise's content. So thank you and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Sinead. I'll come back anytime.